like Nutella. It's really excellent, and I have a hard time living without it. Okay, like, that was mostly a joke. I was about to film the video, and I had this jar of Nutella sitting on my desk because I like Nutella. And my roommate walked in, and he was like, is the Nutella tying into feminism in some way? And so then I decided that it needed to feature in the video. So this week Mariko and I have decided that as a sort of like quasi-intro, we're going to talk a little bit about, we're still telling what we think feminism is and why we think it's important and why we consider ourselves to be feminist. I also start with how I sort of came into feminism, which is actually like fairly recent. Like obviously I always, like if you'd asked me, do I think that women should have equal rights to men? Like I always would have said yes. But what I would pinpoint as like me really becoming a feminist happened probably around last like March. It actually happened because last March for Lent, which is if you're not a Christian, you're not familiar with Christian tradition, it's basically in the 40 days leading up to Easter. Christians will usually choose something to give up for the month. So like often it's like fasting, a lot of people give up meat, or like candy is a common one. I would have a really hard time giving up candy, and I'm a vegetarian, so like meat was out. So the thing that I decided to give up for Lent last year was wearing makeup. And so previous to that, for about like probably 2 years, the 2 years before last year, well more like 2.5 actually, starting pretty early on in grade 12, and last year was second year university, I wore makeup almost every day. Like I wouldn't really leave the house without it. So I had just been like sort of questioning the way I looked at appearance and stuff, and so anyways, I decided that I would give up wearing makeup for Lent. And then about a week into it, I think, one of my friends said to me, she was like, oh, you should write down like your sort of like your thoughts and your feelings and your experiences, because I think that would be really interesting. So I was like, yeah, probably. So I started journaling about it, and then I decided to start blogging about it a little bit. And then like thinking, like my not wearing makeup made me think a lot more about why we wear makeup and sort of how we treat appearance in general, which that sort of questioning and that sort of thought often, like, it's a very natural transition down a feminist path because a lot of that is tied up with how we view women and all that. So I went from deciding not to wear makeup and then thinking about it, which made me think more about a lot of feminist issues and women's issues in general, and that is how I became a feminist. I started reading things that were feminist and becoming really interested, and just like my eyes opened up to a lot of things that I wasn't aware of before, and so then that's how I got interested in feminism and became what I would call a feminist. That sort of transitions nicely into what I would say my definition of being a feminist is, which is, I love that classic quote, it's something like everyone's seen it, but feminism is the radical belief that women are persons. And like, I love it, but I also think that it doesn't fully encompass what I think of being a feminist as being. Because like I said, my whole life I would have told you that I thought that men should be equal to women, but I don't, looking back, I don't think I was always really a feminist. For me, feminism is really, it's sort of a way of seeing the world. Like, since I became a feminist and started reading a lot of things about feminism and looking into things about feminism a lot more closely, it's totally changed how I think critically about the world and look at things. Like, I will notice a lot more things that I didn't notice before, and just like be a lot more cognizant of how I act, and just like I don't know, for me, feminism is like a thought process. It's really a lens that you look at the world through that enables you to see the ways in which our society is very patriarchal and see how that influences people on a day-to-day basis and what implications that has. And then I also think that an important part of being a feminist is then seeing that, but also taking action against that. So that's, like, for me, part of it is when I see something that I don't agree with, that I think is oppressive, I will try and speak out against it. And so that's a big part of being a feminist for me. Feminism is important because women are persons, but we're not always treated like it. And so until we are, until every woman is, and every woman of color is, and every queer woman is, and every trans woman is, and also the implications of patriarchy aren't affecting people who aren't women, because that's a thing as well, then I will be a feminist. Like, because I think a lot of people will say, like, oh, feminism's outdated, like, women have the vote now, whatever, like, do we really need that anymore? But, like, it's become a lot more sneaky now, a lot of sexism and patriarchy, but it's still such a big issue. Like, I think feminism is important because rape culture is still such a prevalent thing. I think feminism is important because patriarchy still really dictates both the things that women are accepted for doing and the things that men are accepted for doing. I don't think that it's okay that a little girl is fine to wear pants to school and, like, her Transformers t-shirt if she likes that, but her brother will get ridiculed for wearing her dress. And that's a feminist issue too. And there are, like, a million other examples that I could cite, but basically, until patriarchy is no longer the, like, overarching mold in which our society operates, then feminism will be important, and I will be a feminist. Blogging. Oh, I should have mentioned that before. My videos are not going to be as good quality as Mariko's, especially right now. I'm currently filming on my iPhone, which is sticky-tacked to my physics textbook, which is sitting on top of my calculus textbook, my organic chemistry textbook, my chemistry textbook, my physical chemistry textbook, my biology textbook, my biochemistry textbook, my analytical chemistry textbook, my cell biology textbook, another textbook that's backwards, so I'm not sure which one it is, and my microbiology textbook. So that's my tripod right now. It's really classy. And also this will be my first ever time trying to edit a video, so we'll see how that works out. But I hope you've enjoyed this little sort of introduction to personstwo. Next week, we're gonna be trying to settle into, like, our real format, which will be, we'll choose some sort of an issue or a topic to talk about next week, but this week we just wanted to give a little bit more of an introduction about ourselves and, like, sort of a primer on, like, what we think of as feminism. And on Thursday you will see the lovely Mariko. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you back on Thursday and then next Tuesday when I'm here.